Welcome to another Rabona TV Weekend Recap. I'm Adrian. What up? And before we dive in today, I just wanted to let you guys know that in the next few weeks, the uploading schedule is going to be a little bit weird. I have a player bio and a new series starting for you guys, as well as a FIFA video preloaded, but I'll probably be going down to about 2 to maybe 3 videos per week while I'm on vacation. While I'm traveling, because I'm still going to be working. Heading to London, then Lisbon, then to my beloved Montreal. Cool. Once I get back, we'll head towards 3 or 4 videos per week, but I'll have a couple of vlogs for you because I'm heading to an Arsenal match, as well as a match in Portugal. Perhaps wait and see. All right, let's hit it, starting in France. On Friday, Lyon got caught on the wrong foot by the newly promoted Reims as they went away to the Stade Auguste Delon, absolutely battered the Minnows, and couldn't find a damn goal. Not only that, however, they couldn't keep the ball out of their own net when in the 32nd minute, Pablo Chavaria's free header beat a completely stranded Mathieu Gorgelin in the Lyon goal. 14 shots and 5 saves for Reims goalkeeper Edouard Mendy later, and Lyon were left frustrated with a big giant L to their name. The first big upset of the Ligue season, of 2. Reims, by the way, won their first match as well, so they're killing it after 2 matches so far. Doing about as well as you can after 2 matches. The next morning, PSG went away to Guingamp, and despite an early scare from the host thanks to a goal from Nolan Roux, the introduction of Kylian Mbappe at halftime made all the difference. In fact, American fans, Timothy Weah actually got the start in this one as Cavani still isn't fit enough to play. But still, Tuchel is showing a lot of belief in this youngster, and I think that he wants Weah to be the next player that he helps to develop into a starlet. Man, who would have thought? Thomas Tuchel, best friend of the American national team. Because you know he developed Pulisic. Speaking of starlets though, Mbappe was pretty incredible in this match, scoring a brace in the final 10 minutes, which added to the penalty that Neymar converted earlier in the half. Easy peasy in the end for PSGZ, although Guingamp were the better team for most of this match, I thought. Going back to Mbappe, he became the first Ligue 1 player under the age of 20 to score 30 goals in league play. He hit 16 for Monaco, while he scored his 14th and 15th for PSG this weekend. My money says that he'll hit his 50th Ligue 1 goal for PSG this season. Who wants to bet? Ricky, you in? As for the others in France, Monaco drew 0-0 with Lille. Dijon won 2-0 against Nantes, meaning they've won their opening 2 matches, while Marseille labored away to Nimes, newly promoted Nimes, and all of that labor simply got them a 3-1 loss. That means both Reims and Nimes, the newly promoted sides, are 2 wins for 2, man. All right, to England, where Wolves had quite the unlucky match against Leicester, as despite dominating the play for long stretches of the match, and despite Vardy getting sent off for a follow-through on Doherty, good call by the ref, by the way, but anyways, Wolves hit the post not once, not twice, but thrice, scored an own goal, then leaked another to James Maddison on 45 minutes, ending up suffering a 2-0 defeat. It was just one of those days for them, you know, but at least it will take some positives from their ability to get a result. And Leicester perhaps will take even more positives from their ability to get a result when they're really against it. Arsenal and Chelsea provided an extremely entertaining affair, mostly in the first half to be honest with you, but in the second it was fine as well. Arsenal were against it before the match even started, as Chelsea was unbeaten at home to Arsenal in their last 6 matches, 5 of which were wins for Chelsea. And after just 9 minutes, man of the match Marcos Alonso squared to his countryman Pedro for the former Barca man's 2nd of the season. And the Chelsea fullbacks weren't finished there, as Dave Azpilicueta assisted to the only man he knows how to assist to, apparently, Alvaro Morata. Since Morata has arrived, every single one of Dave's assists have been to Morata, 7 in total. Arsenal looked lifeless. Chelsea looked on it, adapting well to Sarri ball, though of course, nothing close to the final product just yet, but suddenly, against all odds, Arsenal came to life, with Henrik Mkhitaryan opening his account for the season, and 4 minutes later, Alex Iwobi did the same, with Mkhitaryan playing the setup man this time. According to Opta Joe, those 2 goals from Arsenal were more than they had managed to score in their last 6 matches away to Chelsea. So, after going into the break with the score tied, it seemed as if this one could go either way, but as history tells us, there was only one way this would go, and in the second half, Arsenal showed signs of life far too rarely, and with the introductions of Eden Hazard and Mateo Kovacic, Chelsea's control on this match ramped up, limiting Arsenal to just 1 shot on target in the second half, which Kepa did well to smother the rebound bravely, and limiting Arsenal to just 37% possession. Chelsea's breakthrough came via Marcos Alonso, as I alluded to earlier, thanks to a squared ball from the dominant Eden Hazard. I feel bad for Cech, as he played his heart out in this one, played much better than in the last one. But don't get too excited, people. Those losses came against City and Chelsea. Two tough matches to open the season with, so patience, Arsenal fans. Spurs christened their revamped White Hart Lane. Nope, not yet, people. They're still at Wembley. Well, Spurs welcomed their London brethren Fulham to Wembley, and Pochettino, giving Lucas Moura his second start in a row, was repaid in the 43rd minute when the little Brazilian latched onto a loose ball in the box and hit an absolute perler into the top corner. That was a beauty, but unremarkable in comparison to the history that was made later in the match. After the half, Alexander Mitrovic drew Fulham level, which turned the tides a little bit and brought the high-spending Fulham into the game more. Sick goal by Mitrovic, by the way, heading it in from a laying down position. In fact, Mitrovic hit the woodwork prior to the goal, so Fulham had a decent spell after the half. History was almost made in the 71st minute when Harry Kane took his turn at hitting the woodwork, and this is when Spurs really started to ramp it up looking for the winner, breaking the deadlock in the 74th minute when Kieran Trippy Red lashed a perfect free kick into the goal. Again, nice, but nothing in comparison to the groundbreaking history that Harry Kane made in the 77th minute. Cutting inside about 8 yards out, Kane rolled the ball past Fabry, meaning he has scored a goal in August for the first time in his career, snapping a cursed run of 14 goalless matches, meaning that Spurs won this one 3-1. Decent. You know what else is decent? Richarlison's form, as he scored what was the eventual winner for Everton in their 2-1 victory over Southampton, and Danny Ings, who scored for the Saints. The Richarlison and Marco Silva love story continues to prove to be the most beautiful love story ever told this side of the River Mersey. Watford, Marco's old team, also have continued their sparkling start to the season as they defeated Burnley 3-1 at the Turf Moor. As for the second time in Watford's history, they have won both of their first 2 matches. Maybe they'll push a little higher than the mid-teens, as I suspected. It's 2 games in though, Adrian. Relax. Just as Bournemouth have won their first 2 matches of the season as well, as they defeated the Struggle Boys, West Ham, 2-1. That's the match I'm going to see next weekend, actually, is Arsenal versus West Ham, so that should be interesting. 2 teams that have lost already. 2 teams that have only lost already, I should say. Man City found their form again after playing relatively unconvincingly against Arsenal, though obviously doing enough to get the win. Definitely helped that they were up against one of the favorites for relegation this week, Huddersfield, but City were really in the mood, with David Silva and Gabriel Jesus helping Sergio Aguero out with the goals. Oh, and Congolo also helped him out. Aguero was in sparkling form, putting 3 past an extremely poor Ben Hamer for what was Aguero's 9th Premier League hat-trick. Alan Shearer holds the record for the most Premier League hat-tricks, by the way, with 11. An emphatic win, no doubt, and they did it without Sterling, Walker, and Kevin De Bruyne. Hell, even Sané didn't start this one, which is truly terrifying for other teams. Again though, we gotta temper our expectations given that it was against a weak Huddersfield side, and it's only the second match of the season after all, but all things point to Man City dominance once again. Whew, it's getting hot in here, man. So, how did their Manchester rivals do? I mean, Jose Mourinho's got to be feeling the heat right now also, but United headed down to the south coast to play against Brighton, and when that happens, it spells doom for United, as Brighton had beaten United at home in their last 2 meetings. Well, after 25 minutes, United's PTSD must have kicked in when Glenn Murray put Brighton ahead with a dope flick. Turned himself into Glenn Murrayinho. If that didn't get the PTSD running, just 2.5 minutes later, Brighton doubled their lead. Yikes. Now, Lukaku would score in the 34th minute to make it 2-1, but a clumsy tackle by Eric Bailly would allow for Pascal Gross to slot one home from the penalty spot to reinstate Brighton's 2-goal lead just before the half. And honestly, clumsy would be a good word for United on the day, because
I don't care to jump on the Bash United bandwagon, but what an absolute disaster class in building from the back and defending. Brighton have done nothing in this match really and have a 2-goal lead now. #Baman.
They were bad, dude. They honestly looked like a team that had no idea what their game plan was, with nobody on the same page at all. And that's got to be down to Mourinho, right? I don't know. The amount of stupid passes they made around the back was shocking. Bailly and Lindelof, who looked alright versus Leicester, looked like they'd never even met each other before, while their attack lacked any sort of punch to it. Sure, they got a penalty in the dying embers of the match, with Pogba converting it well, but it was too little too late. Pogba, by the way, really looks like a player who has lost all will to play for United, constantly throwing his arms up in frustration, following misplaced pass after misplaced pass, or from coughing up possession himself. Really interesting times ahead for United, as you wonder if Mourinho will make it through the season if these sort of results become a habit for them, just as they were last season, where they lost to every single promoted team. Still finished second, mind you, but it's not easy for those United fans to watch, I'm sure. Because it's definitely not easy for the neutrals to watch. Moving on to Spain now, as Lionel Messi put in a 10 out of 10 performance versus Deportivo Alaves in the opening weekend of La Liga action, where Barcelona came out as 3-0 winners over those minnows. For Luis Suarez, it was his 200th appearance for Barcelona as he marked the occasion with an assist for Messi's goal in added time. That means that after 200 appearances with the club, he has scored 152 goals while assisting 77. For Messi, according to Opta, his second goal was the 6,000th goal scored by Barcelona in La Liga. Crazily enough, he also scored their 5,000th goal for the club in the La Liga in the 2009. Barca's looking strong and Messi's knocking off records already. Why can't I speak, man? What's wrong with me? Sevilla got their season off to a great start away to Rayo Vallecano, who are back in La Liga after taking a little 2-year vacation in the Segunda División. You know what put a smile on my face in this one? Andre Silva, finally getting a start after a nightmare campaign with AC Milan last season, as the young Portuguese striker scored a hat-trick, becoming the first player to score a hat-trick on their La Liga debut in the 21st century. In their first La Liga match under new manager Julen Lopetegui, Los Blancos, or Real Madrid, obviously, faced off against Getafe at the Bernabeu, and things went according to plan. Though they only won 2-0, which is a comfortable score in its own right, they absolutely dummied Getafe, with Gareth Bale and Dani Carvajal supplying the goals for Madrid. Carvajal's goal was kind of funny, looping it over the keeper, and Bale's, I feel like the keeper should have done better to keep that one out. But, hey, Valencia and Atletico Madrid face off today, which is annoying because I won't be able to take it in before uploading this video, because your man's got a pack. Okay, Italia, you ready? Because Cristiano Ronaldo was ready for Juve's opener against Chievo, a tricky side that big teams do tend to labor against at times, despite being one of the lower tier Serie A clubs. Well, in this one, I found that Ronaldo played pretty well, but I'd be interested in hearing what Juve fans thought about his performance. He didn't get a goal, but he looked up to it, and without the heroics of Sorrentino, the 39-year-old Chievo shot stopper who got a broken nose for his efforts on the day, without him, perhaps Ronaldo would have opened his account on his debut. Oh yeah, I never told you, but Juve ended up winning this one 3-2 thanks to a late winner from Bernardeschi, while Bonucci also scored for the Bianconeri on his second debut for the club in the Serie A. One thing I did notice about the performance of not only Ronaldo but Juve in general, as soon as Mandzukic came on and Ronaldo moved from the central striker to sort of floating on the left, things started to run a lot more smoothly. For me, Cuadrado should be dropped, Douglas should be played on the right, Ronaldo on the left, and Mandzukic in the middle, with Dybala tucked in behind. Every time he plays as the lone striker, I find that Ronaldo gets completely isolated. He's more effective on the left, and could contribute to a pretty lethal Juve attack if he's utilized properly by Allegri, which it's been one match. I think that Allegri is going to play him on the left in the next one. Elsewhere in Italia on the opening weekend, Justin Kluivert really impressed in his first appearance for Roma, as he was a constant thorn in the side of the Torino defenders in the 20 minutes that he was on the pitch for, including setting up Edin Dzeko for the winner in the 89th minute. To be fair, it wasn't the greatest assist. It's not as if he put it on a plate for Dzeko, as there was still a lot for the Bosnian to do from that angle, but still, an assist is an assist, and Roma will be happy with the win. You know who won't be happy? Inter fans, as Spalletti and the boys got off to a rotten start with a big 1-0 loss away to Sassuolo. For a team that I had winning this league, that ain't a good start, bro. Speaking of starts, however, Perisic didn't get one, and the backline looked a little whack with D'Ambrosio as a right back. I'm not into that. Get Versalco in there. How many times did Managiorno start D'Ambrosio? Am I right? But yeah, it was all possession for Inter, no sting. As Sassuolo could have had two, if not for Kevin Prince Boateng smashing it off of the post. And Berardi was on one, man. He looked great for Sassuolo. Lazio also didn't have a fantastic start to their season as they hosted Carlo Ancelotti's Napoli and lost 2-1 to the visitors. Napoli bossed the possession side of things, as they're want to do, with Insigne picking up where he left off last season with a 59th minute winner, building on Arkadiusz Milik's equalizer from earlier in the match. Speaking of picking up where you left off, by the way, Ciro Immobile, who else, got the goal for Lazio in the 25th minute, and I feel bad for Lazio, because in the 94th minute, one of the last kicks of the game, or headers of the game, Francesco Acerbi's attempt went off the bar, robbing Lazio of a point. Well, I guess the bar did the robbing, not Napoli. They were chilling with a 2-1 lead. Interested to see how things will go in the Serie A, especially since not all of the teams played this weekend, given that the likes of Milan and Genoa and Sampdoria versus Fiorentina were postponed following that tragic bridge collapse in Genoa that claimed the lives of 38 people. Horrible stuff, and good on the teams who decided to postpone it. Definitely a worthy cause. Admittedly, a bit of a somber tone to leave you guys on, but you gotta take the good with the unfortunate bad. Can't even imagine, man. That's obviously tragic, especially when you read things like the bridge designer warned about the corrosion 39 years ago. Ugh. Regardless, let's try to be positive. Life's short, so go out and make the most of what you have, because you never know when or how it can be wicked away from you. Like I said, I'm going to be out of the country for the next 4 weeks. I'll still be uploading, but I won't be able to get 4 videos out per week. I appreciate you guys, I love ya, and I'll see you soon. Peace!